Hello everyone, Thunderegg here. In today's video, I'm going to try to explain some of the reasonings of why I think Dodo King is actually Alice, Klee's mother. Now, a bit of background information. You can skip through this if you already know this information. Alice, being Klee's mother, is also kind of like the adopted parent for Albedo, because Albedo never really had a parent to begin with. Alice once told Albedo to treat Klee as a younger sister and to treat himself as part of Klee's family, which is the case currently in Mondstadt because Albedo is very close with Klee. Now, Alice is known as one of the most experienced adventurers in Teyvat. The Teyvat Adventurer's Handbook is actually written by her. Both her and her husband are very good adventurers, and currently, according to the lore, they are being invited on an expedition along with Grandmaster Varka, which is why Jin is the acting Grandmaster, taking over Grandmaster Varka's position at the moment in Mondstadt. Now, the other thing to note about Alice is that she is basically Klee, but an older version in terms of personalities. Just to explain a few examples, if you take a read through the Adventurer's Handbook for Teyvat Adventurer's Hand Guide, you'll find some very funny, interesting stuff. So, for example, for the area of the Dupa Gorge, which is where the sealed sword was first found, there was also 3 large helical camps nearby. Alice's comment for that was there were a lot of helitrolls in those camps, up to the point where she thinks that if she forces this helitroll to work day and night, it should produce enough electricity for Mondstadt to sustain itself for 5 years. And for some reason, if she thinks that if you take the older helitrolls and then turn them into food and then feed them to the younger helitrolls, it might even sustain Mondstadt for longer. I don't know why she has that thought, but that's kind of gives you some sense of what type of person Alice is. Kind of the thought goes everywhere. Another example is regarding Storm Terror's lair. She actually claimed in the Teyvat's travel guide that she bombed a few places in the Storm Terror layers to kind of get it broken, to give it more of the ruined feel to it. So she actually kind of destroyed part of the Storm Terror's lair as well. So that is what type of person Alice is. Now, regarding the reason why I think she was kind of disguising herself as sort of Dodo King to get Klee to go to the island, we can take a look at all the other people she invited to the island, if assuming she is the person behind Dodo King. Now, before we do that, first we want to talk about why she is free at the moment to do that, because even though she is kinda on an expedition with Grandmaster Varka, however, she is not native to Mondstadt, so she is kinda sorta to treat it as a guest or consultant. This explains why she might have already parted ways with Grandmaster Varka and she is currently doing her own thing right now, because that's what she has been doing for the past, until she kinda settled in Mondstadt and had Klee. Now, going back to who she invited to the Golden Apple Archipelago. So we have Klee, who is obviously, it's her daughter, she's going to invite her there. Razor and Albedo are invited. Now, one thing to note is that Albedo is kind of the third member of Klee's family, because we've never gotten any information regarding Alice's husband or Klee's dad in this case. And the other person that was invited apart from Kia and Diluc is Razor, who is a close friend of Klee's. Now, chronologically speaking, there is no evidence, however, it is very easy to find that Alice would have known about Klee's friendship with Razor, given another example. Alice left Mondstadt alongside with Grandmaster Varka, who was the Grandmaster before Jin took over as the acting Grandmaster. Now, during his days as the Grandmaster before he left Mondstadt, he is the one who found Razor, give him his name called Razor, and he's also the one who trained Razor with the his great sword with his claymore usage. Now, given an example of how strong Grandmaster Varka is, Eula once challenged him to a duel. He won with ease. Eula can tell because Yuna was kinda pissed that he did not even really try. But they were able to go head on head without him really trying, so that is how strong he is. So given chronologically that he taught Razor to use the Claymore first, and soon after that Razor kinda went into Mondstadt for some periods of time, that's when Razor met Klee. So it makes sense that at that point, since Grandmaster Varka is still in Mondstadt, it makes sense that Alice was also in Mondstadt at that period. So it makes sense that Alice knows about Razor and her friend and his friendship with Klee. Now moving on to why Kia and Diluc was invited to the Golden Apple Archipelago. Honestly, I do not have a great answer to this question at the moment. My guess was to kind of protect Klee's safety in case of anything emergency. Because as we can see, Jean and Barbara is not officially on the invited list. They just sort of tag along because Jean was worried about Klee's safety. But I guess Alice had this sort of backup plan. If Klee was to go on her own, then Kia and Diluc could also be going there. So worst case, there will be someone to back Klee up in case of danger. Now a few other things to note is that the reason why I'm actually saying all of this is because during the 1.6 trailer, as near the end, we were looking at one of those speaking devices that had a tape playing with the sort of Dodo King. The voice of Dodo King on it was saying, "Oh, Klee has passed all the trials, and now you're gonna face me," or something like that. That was actually a female voice. And for the Japanese side, that female voice has actually been confirmed to be one of the famous female voice actors. So it makes sense that that would be potentially be someone showing up in the future, rather than just stand as random NPC. Because currently also in the sort of lore sort of stuff, there is no mention of Dodo King whatsoever. And given the name of Dodo King, it sort of looks like a joke Alice was playing on Klee to kind of get her to go to this place. Now, another reason why I'm mentioning this is actually this is backed up by one of the leaks that was leaked out during patch 1.5. It was saying that Alice will either make an appearance or have an indirect will indirectly affect the quest lines of 1.6, which in this case she kind of affected the quest lines of 1.6 by a lot by inviting everyone to the Golden Apple Archipelago. Two other things to note near the end was if you listen to Albedo's if you listen to Albedo's echoing conch, you can hear that he said these islands were created by Venti actually when he kind of hurled some extra stuff away from Mondstadt. These islands end up, these pieces of rock end up flowing and then landing upside down. That's why the island has sort of this very hard to climb structure where the top is wider and the bottom is shorter. Now, it makes sense for Alice to know this place while most of Mondstadt doesn't because, first of all, this place still kinda is Mondstadt territory because Venti kinda made this place on accident or he intended to do that. And then the second reason why I'm saying this is a Mondstadt place is because when you hear the battle BGM, it is actually the Mondstadt BGM. They didn't really make any new music, and it is clearly not the Liyue BGM, so it is a Mondstadt BGM. So which is why I believe this place, even though it's not geographically related to Mondstadt that much anymore, however, it is still related to Mondstadt. And another point to note is that we were given a ship to start with. Now, if it was someone really to try to get us into trouble, I don't think they would start us with a ship. I believe overall this is kind of like an encouragement from Alice's side to get Klee to come out and do adventurous stuff, but she probably didn't expect Jean and Barbara to come along. That's why Diluc and Kia was invited to this trip as well to kind of sort to protect Klee. And on top of that, Albedo and Razor were sort of invited as well as like another layer of protection for Klee was just everyone trying to protect Klee because we've all seen how much Klee likes to go around without really telling anyone about it. That is all the reasons why I think Dodo King is actually Alice. Now, of course, we might be able to know this within a few days. Either Alex will officially make an appearance, or I don't think the whole thing will left us hanging, because there's no threat to pick up this quest line as far as we can see by the end of 1.6 if Alex either doesn't really show herself or kind of make Klee realize that it is Alice. That is all the information I have for you today. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. Thank you and have a nice day.